We're starting day 6 of our U.S. crop tour. We're in Nebraska, state of Nebraska. We're just north of Holdrege, Nebraska on Highway 80, and we're just in front of this soybean field, a really good looking soybean field, just about to bloom here. It's a very windy day, sunny, supposed to thunderstorm, but we'll see if that happens. Just some quick facts on Nebraska. Corn yield in 2013 was 170, 2012 142. Soys were 49 and 13 versus 12 at 45. Corn is currently rated 70% good to excellent from the USDA crop progress reports, and soys are 71% rated good to excellent. So again, these beans are looking good in that good to excellent category. We're now going to look at the cornfield. Okay, we're now standing in that cornfield. Again, we're north of Holdrege, Nebraska. That's a good looking cornfield, not quite tasseled yet, probably a week or two away from that. Again, farmers were reporting some Goss wilt disease pressure in both Kansas and Nebraska. We didn't see any pressure from that in Kansas. I'm not seeing it here in Nebraska, but it's early in our crop tour, so we'll keep looking for that. We're now in front of a soybean field. We're just south of Central City, Nebraska, and it's short, it's yellow, it's too much moisture. It looks like this area, we did see some standing water. Probably got too much moisture. This is the worst field thus far on our tour. We've been through 6 states now. You know, this could come back, but you need the heat. We are starting to get some heat through this weekend. It's supposed to get to the 95, 100 degrees, but today is about 27, very windy. We're in front of another cornfield here. This is a very short behind field. It was planted late, most likely due to moisture. This is not the only field we've seen like this. There's been a lot of cornfields that are behind, maybe waist high. We haven't seen any tasseled corn just yet. We're on we're on Columbus Avenue, traveling north towards, we're just going past Columbus, Nebraska, heading north towards Norfolk County. We're now standing in front of a cornfield, some of the better corn that we've seen in Nebraska. We're 5 miles east of Hartington, Nebraska. And if you look, there's at a distance there's some nitrogen loss, some leaching. It's not unusual. It's not usual for that to happen, although Nebraska's had a lot of moisture this year, and so you're seeing some of that yellowish corn in a distance. But the corn can recover from that. We're getting a nice heat here today, and we're probably a couple weeks, 2 to 3 weeks away from tasseling, but overall it looks good looking stand. It was, a lot of this corn was planted probably later due to frost, too cold. But you know, from talking to farmers in this area, there's a good chance. Nebraska is famous for irrigating, so if we don't get the moisture in July, they can irrigate. And looks like you know, if the trend continues with this heat and some moisture, you're on the verge of a good crop. Nebraska is famous for producing a 200 plus corn crop, and it looks like we're on that track so far. All right, we're in another cornfield. We're on top of the hill, God's country in Nebraska. We're 5 miles east of Hartington, and this is just a corn leaf that I grabbed from an earlier field, and this is what hail does. It shreds that leaf. It doesn't really do a lot of damage to the corn, but just wanted to show the effects of what hail does. This is a really good looking corn. Finally, I found some corn that's shorter than me. That's amazing. It's about, you know, waist high. It's a little bit behind, as we said earlier. Nebraska's had some hail, had some colder weather. It's a little bit behind, but I think with some heat and a little bit more moisture here, this should catch up. Probably pollinating mid-July is my best guess here, according to some of the farmers we've talked to. Now in front of a soybean field. We're still in Nebraska. We're just east of, southeast, I guess, of Holdrege, Nebraska, and we're looking at a nice looking soybean field that was planted second week in May. And this did have some hail damage. You can see here from one of the leaves, this usually could be aphids in the month of August, but this is more hail damage. But it doesn't really do much damage to the plants. We've another field over there, so there's the 15-inch rows versus the 30-inch. This is filling out, quite not there. We got some blooming going on. No pods here, but well on the way of probably an average to above average crop. We're now 9 miles south of Holdrege near Holdrege, Nebraska, and in the background you can see a field where this is an area where a tornado hit about 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and that field was just ripped out. The farmers decided to plant some beans on there, replant some beans, and this used to be a house here. Fortunately, there were no one here, so the lives were spared. There were a couple of cows, but you can see the destruction. It's sad to see, but sometimes this happens. We're concluding our tour, our day 6 tour in Nebraska. We're south of Yankton, Nebraska. We're in front of a cornfield. This is typical of the cornfield in Nebraska, probably about waist high, nowhere near chest high, but Nebraska has experienced a bunch of weather issues. It was cold, it was wet, they even experienced some frost, so a lot of these crops were planted late. They're a little bit behind. Corn's probably mid-July before it starts to pollinate. The beans look probably better than some of the cornfields we've seen. We've seen some issues, farmers reporting goss, wilt, or northern leaf, but we didn't see enough on our tour to really be concerned about it. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to rank Nebraska as one of the lowest ranking states on our tour thus far. We've gone through 6 states, and I'm gonna have to rank it number 6, only because it's behind most states that we've gone through thus far. Overall though, the crops look good, and one of the advantages Nebraska has is that they can irrigate. So if the weather all of a sudden turns dry through July and August, they'll be able to turn on that pivot and still produce a relatively very good crop. Typically in any given year they can do that. So in terms of corn, beans, looking good. Average right now, but could become above average if weather behaves.